Hi everyone, and welcome to another one of my Facebook Lives that are not so live right now. For some reason, I could not find my Facebook Live icon. I don't know if I've been banned or not from posting cancer answers on Facebook Live, but either way, I'm recording something. We'll post it on YouTube and then put it as a post. So if you're seeing this, it's not live, but it is the information that I wanted to share with you. So this is 2019. It's a new beginning, a new start. And 2018 was a very momentous year for me. And for those of you who may not know me or who are new to me, I'm Dr. Veronique Desonier, better known as Dr. V, and founder of breastcancerconqueror.com and the 7 Essential System. Now, many of you know me from my healing journey way back in 2004 through 2006. And something very interesting happened to me in 2015. In 2015, I noticed that I was getting some very similar symptoms. I was feeling tired, I wasn't sleeping well, I felt a lot of pressure and pain in my left breast, and obviously that was giving me kind of a warning signal. My gut told me that I probably had a recurrence, but of course I was in denial for a while. But I went to see my DO and I did specific tests that are outside of traditional medicine, measured for ENOX2 protein and specific hormones that cancer cells produce. And I also did a thermogram. Now, for those of you who know anything about thermography, what you're looking at here is an image of inflammation, and specifically in the left breast. And you can see all the inflammation and what we call neovascularity, or new blood flow that's feeding some unhealthy tissue. So this was me in 2015, and that was the beginning of another cancer journey. Obviously, at the time I was, and still am, the breast cancer conqueror. So there was some roller coaster emotions. There was some anger, some frustration, some fear, some shame. How could Dr. V end up with a similar situation that she had back in 2004? So obviously I had more work to do. I had more things to learn. I had a choice. I could be bitter, or I could get better with this. I can look at it as what is the gift that this second journey was going to bring me. And I had to really hunker down and dive into the research again and really do a lot of soul searching. And one question that I asked myself is, I had at that time created the 7 Essential System. I had written a #1 bestseller on Amazon, Heal Breast Cancer Naturally, using the 7 Essential System. So a big question I had was, what am I missing? Is there another essential? Did I miss something in the essentials? So I had to go through each of my essentials and really go through them with a fine-tooth comb and examine what it is that I needed to do and adapt and change for me and my body at that particular time. So essential #1, let food be your medicine. So I had to go back to the drawing board as far as looking at cancer as a metabolic dis-ease. I had been juicing for over 30 years, and I was getting to the point where I juiced, I just did not feel right. I just felt foggy, I just felt off. So I started monitoring my blood sugars, and my blood sugar was sky high after I would juice. So I started looking at calorie restriction and intermittent fasting, fasting mimicking diet, looking at insulin resistance, looking at my HbA1c, and I really got a handle on reducing my carbs and minimizing my food intake, looking at specific nutrients and foods that would help support me. I did some gut testing, some food allergy testing, and found some pretty interesting things about myself. So essential #1, definitely applied it. Essential #2 is to reduce your toxic exposure. And I, again, went back to basics. Coffee enemas, I introduced ozone, rectal ozone, lots of hyperthermia with saunas to be able to, really kick up my heat shock proteins, to really stimulate my immune system, to get my lymphatic system going. I did do some lymphatic drainage with the XP2 lymphatic drainage machine. That was tremendous. Used the biomat a lot. The biomat has infrared therapy, as well as lots of heat with the turmaline crystals and the quartz crystals and the purple crystals, the amethyst crystals. And so that really, also helped to create a lot of negative ions and great detoxification in my body. So that's essential number 2. Essential number 3 is to balance your energy. And so I'm a chiropractor by profession, so obviously I maintain chiropractic care, lots of deep tissue massage. I made sure that I had some grounding just about every day, outside, barefoot, even if it was cool out. At the time I lived in the North Georgia mountains, but tried to get outside. I definitely looked at my hormones in a whole different light. I made sure that my methylation pathways, my estrogen pathways were working well. I revisited my DNA testing to make sure that I was supporting those weaknesses. I learned to really calm down my heart. Now, you may not know or know me, but I'm definitely a type A personality. Gotta have it perfect, gotta have it done yesterday. Let's get this show on the road, so to speak. And so I had to learn to really quiet my mind, quiet my heart, learn to meditate on a consistent daily basis, and to really visualize my body healing in a very calm and peaceful way. Because as we know, if we're, if we have the pedal to the metal and we're really pushing ourselves, that's going to drive cortisol, it's going to weaken your immune system. It's not a pathway to promote healing. So very important to learn to calm your mind and your heart in balancing your energy. And then I also had to really work on getting a good quality sleep. For many, many years, decades actually, after I started perimenopause, I started having problems sleeping. So it was, definitely a balancing act, understanding my body, what it needed to be able to really get a good, peaceful night's sleep. Essential number 4 to heal is to heal your emotional wounds. Now, I thought I had taken care of all that stuff, but this second journey definitely taught me that there were still some things that I needed to learn about and to peel the layers back and to heal. And I would say that the biggest lesson that I received from essential number 4 was to give myself permission to say no to others, and to give myself permission to rest and to take a nap in the afternoon if I wanted to make sure that I moved my body every day, to really look at the stressors in my life and reduce the stress and increase more joy. I worked with a couple of EFT coaches that were very, very beneficial. EFT is emotional freedom technique. It's a tapping that helps to, reprogram those subconscious belief patterns that we have and to help us to release them. I did a lot of journaling, got really good at meditating, as I mentioned in essential number 3. So a lot of things to really help my body heal. And I would say that, calming my heart, calming my mind, and doing some more healing, forgiving myself, forgiving others, it's an ongoing process. We never stop there. Next is essential number 5, embracing biological dentistry. And again, dentistry, like any of the other essentials, is not your once and done type of thing, but it's something you have to keep a pulse on going forward. Now, I continued to visit my biological dentist, and I thought everything was well, but I came across a test called an oral DNA test. It's a pathogenic bacterial test that looks at the saliva in your mouth and to see if there's any unhealthy or pathogenic bacteria that may be contributing to gum problems and eventually gut problems. So I did the test, and of course there were lots of unhealthy bacteria in my mouth, so I had to address that with ozone and with oil pulling and just lots of good dental care. And then another interesting aspect for essential number 5. So my first cavitation or infection in my bone that I learned about way back in 2004 was on the lower left side. And I was in the dentist chair one day, and there was just a little bit of a dot on one of my top molars on the left side, upper left. And she says, well, we'll just clean it up and put some porcelain or something over it to make sure that it stays strong. Well, as she was cleaning it and drilling it, she went, the whole tooth collapsed basically, and she went right through, and there was a big hole in my tooth. My tooth was empty. And this is something called root resorption, something that was totally new to me, very rare according to the biological dentist. And it's an autoimmune condition where your body literally attacks the tooth, and it causes the tooth to become empty, and it just, everything is resorbed, and it's just like a dead shell basically. I had no pain, I had no clue, and so had to get that extracted. And interestingly, it sat on the left breast meridian. So there again, there was a dental connection for me. And then I ended up going to Marble Falls, Texas to visit, and his name escapes me, a dentist there that is awesome. He specializes in cavitations, and we did some work together. I ended up having cavitation up here. This one was clear, and then there was another one down here. So again, biological dentistry, it's something that you have to stay on top of and make sure that you work with reputable dentists that know what they're doing. Essential number 6, Dr. Nunnally, it just came to me. Dr. Nunnally in Marble Falls, Texas. So essential number 6 is to repair your body with therapeutic plants and herbs. Some of you may know about the RGCC test or the grease test. So I applied that technology to discover which natural extracts would be most beneficial for me and affect the breast cancer stem cells. So I did many treatments of high-dose vitamin C, poly-MVA, artemisinin, I mean, the list goes on and on. So I had a whole protocol of supplementation, and I would monitor my my stem cells to see how they were, responding to the therapeutic dosages. Genistein, I did lots of halin, fermented halin, liposomal vitamin C, agaricus, mushroom, artisan, quercetin, curcumin, poly-MVA, CoQ10, lots of good things. So I had a whole regimen. So we're down to essential number 7, and that's monitoring your body. That's, keeping a pulse on your health, following the principles of very early detection and keeping a pulse on your health as you're going through your journey. So I came across a test called the IVGene test, IVYGENE. And what it does is it measures free circulating cancer DNA in the bloodstream. If you're in the green zone, that means that there's very little activity and you're in a good position. If you're in the red zone, that means there's quite a bit of activity of cancer in your body. So far, as of today, January 2nd or 3rd, I think we're the 2nd, January 2nd, 2019, they've identified 4 specific cancers that they've worked with that has followed under this protocol and this regime, and breast cancer is one of them. So I used the test. The good news is I started off at 14. I'm down to 11, and I'm getting ready to test again. So I'm in the green zone. Everything was great. I also had an ultrasound done over the summer of August or June of 2018. Everything was clear. No lumps or bumps. The initial lump that I had on the left side that was also found by my DO, and I found it myself, was no longer there. And initially with the ultrasound, I had 4 inflamed lymph nodes in my armpit, and on the last ultrasound, only 1, and it's calcified. So everything is clear in the breast. I've also done a lot of testing, blood testing, according to Dr. Naisha Winters. She's a brilliant naturopath. She mentions 3 specific tests that are good for you to keep a pulse on your health. It's called the trifecta. Basically, it's inflammatory markers. So ESR, which is erythrocyte sedimentation rate, LDH, lactose dehydrogenase, and high sensitive CRP. Those are 3 tests that if you monitor every quarter, it'll give you an idea if there's lots of inflammation in the body, and if there's a lot of inflammation, then you're probably actively producing some cancer, according to her research and her work. Also had to work with my thyroid. I discovered that I had lots of issues with my thyroid, high TSH, and had to, work with a naturopath to help balance that off. Natural killer cells, nice and strong. Cancer profile is normal. All the traditional blood tests are normal, and RGCC is looking better and better. So all that to say that I went from this to this. So you notice the green. So that means there's no inflammation. The breasts are nice and cool. Yes, I do have a bit of heat in my armpits, and this is normal here. That's just from the bra. And of course some tension in my neck, but the breast tissue, cool and green, and that's what we want to see. So I can now proudly say that I'm a 2-time breast cancer conqueror. I'm very proud and excited to say that. I waited a long time to come out of the closet. It took me over 3 years, but I knew in my heart of hearts that my body had the ability to heal, that the 7 essential system works if you apply it diligently, and if you really have the faith and believe that your body has the ability to heal. So I know you probably have lots of questions. I'm coming out with the 2nd edition of my book, which I will discuss my healing journey in greater detail. But I really support all of you, whether you use traditional medicine or whether you use evidence-based natural medicine or a combination of both. The important thing is that you get well. The important thing is that you use the 7 essentials to transform your life. It's not just about getting rid of the lump or the bump, but it's about a complete transformation and not getting stuck in the bitter, but learning how to be better. So I'm very, very grateful, very thankful to be able to share this with my community, and I love you and I appreciate you. I'm sending you a big heart hug, and I cannot wait to meet each and every one of you personally one day. Bye-bye.